Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 76th episode of the HSBG Podcast. I'm your host, Educatedcollins. I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady Bunny. Shady, how you doing?
I'm doing great now that you're back here, Collins. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm good. I went to TwitchCon, came back, like, pretty recently. I came back. Like, I stayed longer than normal because it was the cheaper flight. I'll be honest. So I just came back like two days ago or so. And, now I'm like remembering where everything is. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same thing with TwitchCon EU, right? Where the flights immediately back were just like just brutal, like lines and all that. And I had some people that were leaving late and like, oh, this was a stroke of genius. Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't mind it. It's just like, oh, this is cheaper. I didn't
Cheaper to
really,
extend
I didn't
my
really think
vacation
about
for
it
them.
that far. But
All right.
I mean, I guess I could talk about it later on. But overall, it was a good time. How was your week?
My Battlegrounds week has been good. I've had sort of half and half where I've had some decent games where I was able to play on EU, and then some days where sleep deprivation it was better to just have some fun on an A. So I'm like front page right now. I was top 16 for a while. I think I'm probably, I don't know, like 2 wins out of it or something right now, or 2 wins from being like solid spot top 16. But we'll see. It's overall good, and as long as I can, play a few more good days, I'll probably have a good chance to make it anyway.
Good news for some people. I have played a game, more than one game this week. Last time I was on here, I did not play anything. So
We have evidence. I spectated Collins when he was
you
winning
did.
his
That game was like not fair. Like you joined me, I'm
mastery.
like cat with like 37 HP. It's like what's going on?
Classic Collins, just making it work.
uh, but yeah, I'm like the MMR is inflated, right? So I assume the people I'm playing with aren't like super crazy. So it feels
I
easy.
really don't think that your lobbies are almost any different. You're
It
11K,
it
right?
it,
11
it
to 12.
feels easier. How do I explain that? Maybe
I know. Yeah,
the
yeah. I mean,
break did me
well,
some good.
yeah. No, that is great. And also the for instance, when I'm playing on an A, I'm around 11K, like 11.2 or something, and I got like in the 90s for a first place, and it's
90s.
just like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like, but I mean, it was a good, like, I follow, I think there was like 2 front page players when I won that one, and like I got a third place and got like 35, right? Shit like that, where it's much easier when you're playing on a low MMR to look at a session and be like, damn, that was a good
That
session,
was a
but
good
then
session. Yeah.
you play the same one and you're like, that's 300 less than MMR, okay, because that third place would have been like
Plus 10.
0
Oh
or plus
yeah.
5, or yeah, like a range, right? Like, yeah, you'd be able to get 0 there. That's very possible.
You can lose for
uh,
third place.
you can lose.
Yeah,
You could
that's what
absolutely lose.
that's what I'm used to. Third
Yeah,
place, you
like
lose
third place.
MMR.
Fuck, I
Yeah.
lost. Yeah, I lost.
Yeah. So like changing that to like, oh, it's first place points to get third. It's like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
well, I wouldn't say first, but yeah,
But like 40
substantial. Close
points is
enough.
like,
Well,
like
35. But yes, that was it's good. I that was just my point. My point
that's
was
definitely
that
higher than second place,
yeah,
right?
for
Like
sure.
in between the second and first to get a
We
third.
talked first, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. Like 35 for first. That's a really shitty lobby there.
True.
That's
You,
very meager, man. Like 35. Like Jesus, that's brutal, savage. All right. So playing some games now. Excellent.
yeah. But yeah, it's been 2 weeks, I guess, since our last podcast because
Yep.
we wanted to like, we were talked about trying to do it for TwitchCon, but then we never did. We were both lazy. No one talked about it. This
Yeah,
didn't happen.
I think that I was like, I'm gonna bring it up, but then some shit IRL happened, and I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be able to do it when even if I could. So I'll just let it slide, and we'll both just like podcast. Yes, okay. We didn't miss a week. Now we didn't. No problem.
Yeah, but overall, TwitchCon was nice. I met a lot of people. I would say some. It wasn't like the Amsterdam TwitchCon where there was a Hearthstone tournament. So I wouldn't say there was that many like Hearthstone people, like a Hearthstone crowd. I did see some people that from Hearthstone, and there was definitely some Hearthstone players that I got to talk to, right? Like Sleepy and Jeef and Lee and Pocky, right? There was a lot of like people, but I would say this was more just a general TwitchCon experience where you got to see like people, like there were some people I saw from last TwitchCon, and there's also some people I hadn't seen ever. Like there's just like some streamers that I talked to in other games, and they're like, oh, they're here, So it's like it's nice to see. Oh, hey, what's going on, buddy? But yeah, it wasn't like a super Hearthstone centric TwitchCon, but it was just like a general TwitchCon, and there was a lot of cool games there and fun stuff. There was like some bad PR for Twitch and Lenovo. Some a woman got injured, and I was like there. It was like
you were in the crowd when she jumped, or
there was I literally watched her jump. There was a Street Fighter booth right there, so I was with Dreads and his wife, and we were just playing Street Fighter and watching them because Dreads was gonna go on next actually, so we were just right there, and she jumps in, and I thought everything was fine, but like 20 minutes passed and she was like still on the ground, and then
so for maybe the people that weren't keeping track of TwitchCon drama, would you want to explain very briefly what transpired?
Sure. So Lenovo had like a fighting booth or so, not like with I don't know, with like foam.
Yeah, like they have like a stick and there's like foam at the end, and they try to push each other off platforms.
Yeah.
So like that, right? Yeah.
At the bottom, so they were like on a elevated plank or so, and then at the bottom was a
platform,
right? Yeah, and then on the bottom was a bunch of like foam squares or so, and then
supposed to be a foam pit, right?
Yeah. So but it was filled with foam squares, so you assume now everything's foamed. Apparently, that was not the case. Apparently, the bottom was just like ground, and there was just a foam squares there. So there, I thought the same as that woman that jumped. Like you could just jump there and you'd be fine.
So we're talking concrete on the floor.
I don't know if it's like concrete, but like definitely a hard. I didn't go and touch it and be like, oh, this is concrete.
No foam.
It was not foam. Yeah,
it was not foam. Right. Confirmed.
So she won the fight, or between the like you're fighting some other person. She won the fight, and then she like jumped and like did a split and so and fell in there, and apparently she messed up something on her back and she couldn't move.
From what I read, she broke it in 2 places or so. She's having surgery to have it repaired. So yeah, very, very serious.
Yeah, so definitely not a good look, I would say.
The stuff I mean, obviously Twitter's very good at sort of like, hey, let's grab the pitchfork, let's pile on, let's make it look as bad as possible. But from what I read, there were several incidents. I heard that after that or prior to that.
I heard that the other incidents were more like neglect on the person. Like it wasn't like Twitch's fault or like any company's fault. It was more like just idiots being idiots, that kind of thing.
Oh, right. I just saw like dislocated knee and like rolled ankles and stuff. But yeah, like that's different than having your back broken in 2 places.
Yeah, this one is you could pretty much blame like Twitch and Lenovo, right? Like that's you should have padded the pit for sure. Where the other ones is more like people being dumb, maybe jumping somewhere they shouldn't be.
The counter argument you do see online is where people say like, well, you stepped into this thing probably to get to the platform. Like, didn't you like see, right? I'm definitely not saying you're like it's her fault, right? I'm just saying that is an interesting observation where if you're stepping through the foam,
I
And you're
don't
like,
think they had to. I think
oh, right.
you
Yeah,
could.
that's a very big distinction, right? If she had no idea, then obviously it's very, very hard to even begin to make a case. But, regardless, like, even if she had, it's really, really dumb to, make a foam pit and at the bottom is concrete or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous, right? It's just like, it's safer to not have the foam there because then people at least know.
Yeah.
Don't do dumb shit. It's
That's
literally safer.
funny.
That's the crazy part, right? They don't put any foam there. It's literally safer. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. Which is silly. Yeah, I agree.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Definitely a weird experience there because
Yeah.
I was there and I thought everything was fine. Like I was literally watching the fight, like 5 feet away, and I thought everything was fine. But then once the medics came out, I was like, oh,
Not fine. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, Dreads, do you want to go on next? He's like, yeah, it's fine. I was like, Dreads, come on. Yeah, but that's Dreads. Apparently, small aside, he won the Balloon Twitch Rivals Championship for Canada. So congratulations to Dreads there. I had faith in him. No one else had faith in him except for me. I told him the day before you will do it. And he was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I mean, he's an athletic dude, right?
Yeah, I was like, how is going to beat you?
How is he losing? Yeah. Some nerd's going to beat him, right? Yeah. You don't need leg day to chase balloons. It's fine. It's all chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Good for him.
Congrats.
All right, so now we're gonna go on to like actual topics, right?
Actual Hearthstone dance game.
Yeah, I don't know if there is actual Hearthstone. I think I didn't actually do this. Whoopsie. Okay. The first thing is the Lobby Legends, right? There was another one, or there's one coming up,
right?
Okay,
There's the actual Lobby Legends happens tomorrow. I think.
Okay, yeah. There's a Lobby Legends tomorrow.
The qualifier did transpire in that time, though. Yeah.
Okay, so there was a qualifier, right? And we do have the results. Matsuri, Dapido, XQN, Sleepy, Senior Held, Satellite, Alucard, Rupee TT. It's all the same names, by the way, as I'm reading this out. Right? These are very similar names. Yellow is pretty new. Or Yanase, Penguin San, and Kuro Neko. That's cool. Black
lots
Cat.
of repeats.
That's a cool name. You're saying lots of repeats.
Yeah. It's cool to see. So you had the lobby day. So I don't have this. But Say was in it again, right?
Yeah, but apparently he didn't finish or.
Oh, he didn't advance. Okay.
Yeah.
I just saw his name there. So, but yeah, no. I mean, in terms of the 48, yeah, I think that there's always going to be big overlap. I think that's just how it is, right? With how good people are with this game, and it's hard to break in versus these monsters when they have a whole month on ladder.
Versus the monsters.
The monsters. You're a monster too, Collins.
Sure. Anyways,
hey, I haven't made it past the first round, okay, right? I just keep getting blocked, so yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played for this, but one thing I did want to talk about was something I found out today, I guess. So tomorrow there's going to be one, and then there's also going to be a qualifier at the end of the October, and it's the 9th and final Lobby Legends of the year. So
the October is the last qualifying month, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, they're doubling the prize pool for the last Lobby Legends.
Oh, so is this, you think, a logistical thing where they thought they could do another month?
But they
didn't work out, and they're just like, all right, slap the extra money on the last one.
Yeah, because they said they're going to do 500K, right? And they're like, oh, well, we can't do it.
You can't hold out 50K. Like, 450 is okay, right? Yeah. Okay. Wow, that is insane. All right, so, time to start trying.
Yeah. Okay. So you didn't know either.
I didn't know.
Oh,
No,
okay,
I
so
think very, very few people know.
I
Yeah.
found out today, and I was gonna chill, but now I'm thinking maybe I should just come back and qualify. Because I was gonna chill this month and
A
not
lot of
really
money,
care.
man.
Yeah, but now
Yeah.
I'm thinking I should maybe
So
just.
when they say double, do they just mean like everyone gets the same just times two, or is there any kind of different weighting, or do you not know that?
So I'm reading off of the announcement here, right? So
Okay.
it says um, to celebrate the incredible first year of Battlegrounds Lobby Legends, which is not the case. We didn't have logisticals for another Lobby Legends, so we're gonna double the price pool. Like that's most likely what's happening. But anyways, like you can't say that, so this is fine. So they're doubling the final prize pool. I assume that means things are doubled. Like I don't know how they would change that up, right? Like how would that
Yeah,
change?
exactly. I wouldn't, I
The
wouldn't assume
qualifiers
that
get
it'd
a
be any.
small kickback, like $100 for
Well, I mean,
each.
you could make it like really epic and just say like, the extra 50 gets to first place or something completely silly, right? Like you could do that, but
See what?
yeah, but that's insane, right?
No way.
That is insane.
Yeah, that's
If you wanna really really incentivize people to play
that
for
would
first,
that would be messed up though.
the 50 grand is for the first player, right? He just gets the extra 50. So yeah, no, I think times two is the most logical thing to do
I
there.
I
So.
wouldn't even mind like all the qualifiers get 100, but how would you do that for like China region, right? Because maybe their qualifiers are different and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I don't think you suddenly start landing in the money if you not final 16.
Yeah. So, but basically, like it is double the money most likely. So that is pretty cool for the competitors. So definitely, if you want to compete, this is the month, right? It's 2x's value.
If you've been holding back, time to go all in.
There's literally like handful of people who are like, "That's me, that's me. I've been holding back. I've never competed, but I can do it now."
Jeef's gonna be all like, "Well, college. How important is college? Come on now. Let me."
I mean, I was talking about. He was like, he was like, "Oh, I should be doing my homework," but yeah, I'd rather play. We ended up playing like poker, I think, and stuff like that. It was interesting. Didn't play for anything. I realized afterwards that we should have done some type of like subs or something, to give it some weight.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, because we didn't do anything. We were just like, "Here, I won the hand." Didn't do anything. Anyway,
You guys played one hand, or?
no, we played it out. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. A couple matches, and sometimes like you wake up in the morning. This was like just for a day, right? And then you play like one-on-one with somebody, which is a completely different game than playing with like more than one person.
Yeah.
And we play like 4 people and whatnot. So it's
So when you play with two, it's just big blind, small blind the whole time, or
something like that. Yeah,
something like
I
that.
don't,
Basically,
I don't know that much about poker.
you're putting money in the pot the whole time.
Yeah. I guess so. But regardless, important thing is that next Lobby Legends is the final one, and it's also going to be double the prize. So that I'm surprised you didn't know, right? Because like I'm just coming back. So if you didn't know, that means no one knows. So
Well, I am a content creator now, right, Collins? Those competitor days are no. But yeah, no, I don't really read the. I mean, you can't really give them shit here or anything, right? It's literally on the website, so I just didn't bother to go and check because in the end, it's relevant, but it's not like I'm sitting here like I've been throwing all these games and now no more throwing smooth MMR games from now on. And you know what? I think this time I will make it past the first round. Thanks for letting me know that I should play better now.
I hear what you're saying. Okay, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it's the same, right? Yeah, for sure. But for some people, right, where there's legitimate, I guess, concerns of like, okay, where am I going to spend my time and my effort? Is this rewarding enough? Like, it could make a difference in some people's decision, but that's a very, very small subset of people.
Yeah.
Sounds like me. I'm in this.
Anyways, next thing I think we want to talk about was a pet peeve of yours. Is this a good transition?
Yeah.
All
Pet
right.
peeves.
Pet peeves. There's a hero Shady doesn't like. Cause I don't know. Everything's new to me, but Shady does not like Lich Bazow. Why?
Yeah,
Now, let me go first.
yeah,
By the
you
way,
go.
so I look at this hero and I'm thinking, Shady, this hero isn't that strong. I assume there's a bit of echo.
She's doing really well.
Oh, is she? I
She's
haven't
one of the
looked at
strongest.
the win rates, but that actually surprises me that she's super high win rate right now.
No, she has armor. So her
Oh
quest,
wow.
yeah, she has armor now. So her quest is not that difficult, and she has more money. So she completes the quest relatively easy, and she still does her own bullshit.
Okay,
So she's
that's when I go top 1% last 7 days. She's number one.
yeah, like I said, but I mean, I think it's hard to. So whenever I'm ranting about shit, it's for my games. So I don't know if she's top one in like the very, very, very top end.
Top
But
5%, she's still pretty high.
she's at the very least. I would say top 5 picks, right? Top 5 picks, I'd say, if you're going.
So things have changed.
Well, there were some patches, and I don't even know which patch they snuck it in, but they gave her armor. And I think you might recall me saying you can't give this armor because then you completely break it, because it was already really done before where you could already high roll, but at least a lot of the time you saw Lich's just top 8. So a lot of people were, kind of just scared of picking her. But now you have that cushion of the armor, which is double in the quest meta because you have more health on a hero that really, really needs the health, and your quest is easier. So that's a double whammy.
Okay, the more we talk about it, the more I'm starting to understand. Like, oh, maybe Shady isn't crazy.
It's annoying, man. It's super annoying.
All right,
so
feel free now.
All right. So the basic complaint I have about Lich Bazil is that almost no matter how well the Lich does in her game, she ruins the game for 2 to 3 other people. And here's why. If you play Lich, your normal curve is to tap on turn 1 so you can level to tier 2. It's the only hero in the game that can do that. Then the turn after that, you have the option to tap again and go to 3. A lot of people do that. And then it's essentially a game of, do I get a good shop? If I do, I tap and double buy again. If I don't, a lot of people go to 4 the turn after that. So we're talking leveling the first 3 turns straight. So then turn 4, you get to buy 2 minions. Let's see, 4, 6, maybe 3 even, right? Depending on your shop. But the problem is turn 5. Starting turn 5, you start to get a board where if we talk about what turn 5 normally is, turn 5 is the 8 gold turn. So this is the turn where people
just level.
Yeah, they level and either do nothing or sell 2 cards and buy, or hero power.
Right.
So it's an extremely low impact turn. Now in the quest meta, there's more people that buy on tier 3, but then still that's fairly low impact. So what Lich does on 8 gold, I think I fought a Lich and I should have taken a screenshot, but her board was literally tank, module on a reset, Deflecto, and then another 3-drop a Sensei, and then another 4-drop like an Elise or something gross. And you're like, it's 8 gold! It's 8 fucking gold! You have more 4-drops than anything else on your board. You have 4-drops and 3-drops. That's it. Exclusively 4-drops and 3-drops on the board. And is that a high roll? Yes, of course. But do you need to high roll to deal 15 damage to someone on the turn where you're usually majority have 2-drops on your board, maybe a couple 1-drops here and there, maybe if you went 3-on-3, a couple 3-drops, but just the sheer amount of money that Lich can throw at the problem here, where Lich doesn't lose turn 5. She doesn't lose turn 6 in the vast majority of cases. So we're talking either turn 4, 5, 6 or 5, 6, 7, depending on when they leveled. But those turns are nasty for the opponents because you're fighting someone who spent way more money on their board. And if they roll into a Mal'Ganis or the Karathan tier, whatever the name is now, it's even worse because now they can tap with impunity. They just do not need to care. They get 2 gold every single turn. So my problem is that a lot of the people that defend Lich, that explain why that's the case, is, oh, she's high risk, high reward. But my point is that even in the high risk, no reward version for the Lich player, meaning let's say they do take a top 8 because they tap, and at some point they get unlucky and die as the first one, they've still dealt 15 damage to 2 to 3 players and ruined those players' games, or at the very, very least ruined their plans, because you're not supposed to get hit, with a board full of 4 drops and 3 drops on 8 gold just out of nowhere. And it's a very much a Shutterwalk-esque experience where
I
you're
was gonna ask.
yeah, exactly, right. It's just like, oh, well, fighting a Shutterwalk, haha, take 15. It's something that we just conceded, where it's like, oh, I'm fighting a Shutterwalk. I might just level. No matter what I buy here, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna take 15, no matter what I do here. And that is just an extremely unfun experience where you queue up against the hero and you're taking 15 damage, unless, we are talking extremes here where you've had a really, really good set of shops and you hit that deflecto with the reset and you have good combat, and they had really, really shitty shops, or they just played it wrong, or this or that. But especially at a high level where people know how to play the hero, they know when to level, they know what to buy, it is extremely common that you're going to take at least 10 damage, and in so many cases 15. And that is just frustrating, that no matter what happens to the Lich player, you're in a much, much worse spot than you're supposed to be if you hit almost any other hero at that point. And then in some cases, a Lich, there's high reward, actually in a lot, right? We see your average placement doing well. So, but my point is that even if she doesn't get rewarded, the other players still get their game ruined, which is just overall a really feels bad experience, and really just reminds me of Shutterwalk, where there's a hero in the lobby and there's insane matchmaking RNG where whoever faces that hero is just in a really bad spot.
Okay. So this sounds more like a design issue, right? It's not like a balance issue per se. Like, it might also be a balance issue where, like, she shouldn't have armor in this meta, where having extra armor really buffs the hero, right? Like, you could make the argument, but this, like, even despite that feels more like a design issue, where giving heroes the ability to deal 15 damage extremely easily and consistently or very early in the game isn't something you want to do, right? Kind of reminiscent of Shutterwalk, where Shutterwalk's able to create the insane board that deals 15. You just don't think that's like a great experience. And I mean, I'm not like disagreeing, I'm just like clarifying.
Yeah, exactly. It's really the spike, how hard she spikes and how early she spikes. Because I mean, I think in the end, like, it is a cool idea where they're like, oh, what happens if we do this? But now we've seen what happens when they do this, and this is why we should maybe not do it in the future, just giving heroes this insane trade-off where they have this high risk. Because if it was in a vacuum and you would just play Lich and you'd say, oh, let's just make this high roll hero, win by the high roll, die by the high roll, and it wouldn't affect other players, fine. But we are playing a sort of battle royale style where you are playing other players, and it does matter. And who you face it's really, really impactful on the course of their games.
Yeah, like, this is it kind of like, that's why there were some heroes that had this kind of playstyle, but were like balanced in the fact that they didn't deal a lot of damage. Like, things like Daryl, I guess, right? When Daryl high rolls, he can have an insane board, but then his board is like 3 drops at most, or 1 drop, so you're not taking that much damage, even when he's insanely strong. Tyrion, back in the day, had that same thing. He could be insanely strong, but then he just had 1 drops and stuff like that. So
like, at least you're now paying with
and like Wag Toggle, right? Queen Wag Toggle, right? Yeah. She could be insanely strong, but she had 1 drop, so you weren't taking a lot of damage. And that felt better, even though it felt like wrong, in that, it's very easy to play only almost brainless. But like, when you don't get destroyed in 15, and then you can like outscale and outplay them in the late game because they're playing this weird style that doesn't scale crazy. It scales crazy, but then there's a certain point where you can outscale that, and then they have no way to recover because they have to like spend their extra time leveling and whatnot. So that one, even though could say was more toxic, right? They had a better win rate than Lich Bazaar does now. It was less toxic to play against because you weren't taking so much damage.
It's more spread out through the lobby. Like the whole lobby suffers because there's a whack toggle and you're like, she's gonna take top 2 almost no matter what.
Right.
And here, the Lich doesn't really ruin the whole lobby. It's pretty much just the 2-3 players she faces when she has this unbeatable board, because she just, that's the thing, right? She gets access to higher tier minions before anyone else, and like we know that's very good. We know that if you can buy 4 drops when other people are still go on the 3 or go on the 4, it's you're gonna have that 2 to 3 turn window where you just completely destroy.
All right, so now hearing your speech, I can understand it. Now, do I say delete Lich Bazaar? I haven't played in a while, so I actually don't know. I haven't played it. I haven't played against it. But I can definitely see where you're coming from.
It's not like it happens every day, right? But it's just like it is like Shutterrock, right? Like sometimes you just have that window where you do hit a few shutters in one day, and you're just like, come on, how is this a thing, right? And then the frustration comes up. So I mean, I might go several days without getting the short end of the stick in that thing, but then you have a day where it happens 2 to 3 times, and you're just like, oh, I didn't get to play the game here. Because I think I do recall that one game, that board I talked about, the 8 gold, right? So I shit you not, man. It's like a menace with a module on it, a tank, a deflecto, a sensei, and then like another random 4 drop. And I'm sitting, or maybe the 4 drop was a modular. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it's 8 gold. They have a taunted menace with a tank, and it's like disgusting, right? Like it's absolutely destroys you. And then on cooldown, I fought her again, and she wasn't slowing down. She just still had this unbeatable mech board where I think she got a second tank or gold into tank or whatever. So and I'm sitting there like, oh, yeah, no, she hit me for 15 the first time around and then finished me off. And I'm just like, okay, like this one hero just denied me my game. I couldn't do anything. Yeah, and like that's when she's having a particularly good game, of course, because that's just a nasty set of rolls, right? You rolled into a module, a deflecto, a menace, a tank, and all that. But even if you have, I don't know, a pair of bonkers or something, you still just shit on someone and deal a lot of damage.
Very fair, very fair. Unfun hero, apparently. And it sounds unfun, unless you're playing any hero. And it seems easier to play, so
yeah, the armor really made it a lot more forgiving. Like the no armor, you were just, man, like if you didn't make those turns count, then there was no cushion. But now there's a cushion and the quest, and as I mentioned, Lich gets more money. So more money just means easier quests a lot of the time. A lot of the quests are money related, where you got to buy minions, you got to summon minions, you got to literally spend X amount of gold. So yeah, that doesn't help that she gets that quest.
Sounds good. All right, I think we've talked about Lich Bazaar.
We can move on. Yeah. My pet peeves out of the way. I can go another day without talking about it. So that's good.
All right, we should probably talk about the patch. So there was also a patch that came out very recently, right? I think you said yesterday or so.
Yeah. Very, very recently.
Yeah. So they do have a comment. This is a smaller update as we spread our recent changes across the last few hotfix patches. So apparently they've been doing hotfixes in between these patches, trying to balance the quests. And then Battlegrounds players should expect a bigger Battlegrounds update with the next major patch post 24.6. Now it's 24.4.3-3. So I don't know when 24.6 is, but probably pretty soon, I guess.
Yeah, right around the corner.
So what's your thoughts on their balance? Do you think they've been balancing like well over the game? Like the quests feel strong or balanced or what?
That's so I really like this meta, so I'm gonna say that I'm biased, of course. So I can see what they've done with the armor and the quests, and I really like that, where I don't have unplayable hero packs anymore. It just doesn't happen because you can look at a whack toggle and be like, yeah, okay, well, 10 armor, really easy quest. Like maybe I can just cheese something.
Right.
And that is just so much more fun to play. Now I can see someone looking at this and saying like, that's not balanced, that's cheap, come on, they just have this armor quest design. Like, where's all the individual hero tweaks where all heroes are, roughly, pickable regardless of the quest, this or that. I think that's a bit more unrealistic if you have that
That's very,
expectation.
very hard to do.
Let's just, snap our fingers and be like, all right, we're paying money now. Where's my 40 heroes instantly reworked and this and that. I think that is definitely something that a lot of the critics, right, they do want to put that forward. But I think it does revolve around what is the end result, and the end result now is that we have way better hero balance. So I'm not sure if this was a very big factor in them looking at quests and armor, but I'm guessing it was, and it worked out really well, I'd say. Now, of course, when quests go away, which we know will happen at some point, then we sort of open up that problem again, where we open up that floodgate of, hey, your hero pick really matters again, because assuming that we go back to a more normal meta, so I would say buddies and quests, even though the metas play out differently, they had a similar feel to it, where you're playing more around your quest, you're playing more around your buddies. So a lot of the traditional things that do well don't do well anymore. So we're talking like a Zyrella, for instance, where it's like okay right now, not unplayable, but it's definitely not something like, oh, thank God I got a Zyrella. And when we're talking a more normal meta where you need to triple into your direction, someone like a Zyrella that can really farm triples on tier 1 suddenly gets way better again. And then we're talking, well, now I have to take that Whack Toggle. It's absolutely awful because Whack Toggle does nothing for me in helping me get a triple, and I can't get any directions. So that's that's my take on the balance. I think it's really good right now, but then obviously when we go to the next meta where the quests are gone, how's it gonna look then?
All right. Sounds like a lot of words to say.
Words were said, yes.
A lot of words to say, yeah, it's okay for now. Scared about the next.
Well, I wanted to be thorough there. And in terms of the quest balance overall, I think Stolen Gold is still stupid.
Okay.
I think that, I
See,
still...
now I'm hearing what I want to hear.
The previous one was my politician answer. Right? I'd be like, but yeah, Stolen Gold is still stupid. I don't think it should be in. I'm not sure if...
So you're saying remove it completely?
We can maybe keep nerfing it and keep making it more difficult, but you're going to get some people that cheese Stolen Gold sometimes, somehow, and it's still really dumb when you fight those people. So I just don't like those scenarios where we just create more and more opportunities for people to do really dumb shit, and then you fight them and you're like, oh, well, I can't beat this because, random golden crocodile and, a golden baby crush in the front. You're like, good luck with that,
It's what about, do you think it's the beast minion type that's the problem?
I mean, there's still really dumb stuff with Taragosa, just like randomly making a golden, like you make a golden gem splitter and then you have a ground shaker that's being fed 10 gems per turn because you're not supposed to have a golden gem splitter at that stage. We still have Baron Omega Buster even when beasts are out. So I think there's just too many comps where you say, hey, would you do a lot better if 2 of your minions are golden? Be like, yeah, I'd do a lot better right now. And, that's like an immediate power spike. So again, maybe a little bit more that Lich type effect where the moment they do unlock it, it's boom, insta tempo where they can put a juggler in the back. They can put a tank in the back. They can put a croc in the back. Like they don't need Baron yet. So it's great tempo and it's a win con. I guess that's my problem with the quest. The quest does everything right now. You unlock the quest, it keeps you alive, and then it wins the game for you afterwards. So I really don't like that Stolen Gold is still a thing.
Okay. That's a fair answer. Okay. Cool. All right. I guess we can get into it. Like the first change is the hero updates Fungal Mancer Flurgle. Old passive after you sell 4 minions get a random murloc. Now it's got changed to after you sell 5 minions get a random murloc. Now I haven't played for a bit, but I look at this and I think, wow, like the old Flurgle, when it got changed to after you sell 4 minions, get a random murloc, the immediate reaction was like, this hero's gutted. They gutted my boy.
We were both completely off the mark there. Yeah, I will say that. Like, we were like, oh, wow, I'll never play Flurg again.
Yeah.
And funny enough, if you'd ask me until yesterday, who's the best hero, I'd be like, oh, Flurg, no contest.
You were even saying that before I left.
Sorry?
You were saying that before I left.
Yeah, exactly, right. But I say yesterday because the patch happened, right?
Okay.
So I say up until yesterday. So which is why right now I'm going to be very careful to put any judgment. I'm definitely still going to try him, right? Because the instinct is like, well, surely he can't be good now, right? It's like, I don't know. I thought 4 was horrible, and it was the best hero in the game. So I'm gonna try 5. That's for sure. Yeah. So I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, they killed him. So because it felt like he was gonna be bad with 4, but was really, really good.
Well, I'm gonna make that thing. They've killed Flurgle. He's
Bold
unplayable
prediction.
now.
All right.
You won't be seeing any more Flurgles anymore. But yeah, this is a big deal, right? I would say for Flurg.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, we talked about how impactful it is when you turn a 1 into a 2 and all that, and in this case, turning a 4 into a 5. Like, if you look at the entire course of the game, just if you calculate just how many more minions that is you'll be selling, and how, I guess we can calculate it more in the fact of like how many Murlocs are you missing out on compared to like a Fleur game where it's 4 instead of 5. So that's a lot of shots on target for your Primal Fin and your Tad that you're missing, and that's really the BS when you're playing Flurg. It's when the hero power gives you Tad or it gives you Primal Fin, because both of them sell for 2, right? So they really, really just set up the next activation, and then they give you useful stuff a lot of the time. Primal Fin a bit more than Tad, because like Primal Fin into Tad is just like, this is absolute sick, right? Like when you've got Golden Honcho on the board, your hero power gives you a Primal Fin, you play the Primal Fin, it pulls a Tad, you play the Tad, you sell the Tad. Yeah, I mean, could get another Primal Fin, which has happened before, of course, but just getting like a Seer is already really, really good. And yeah, that was like, Flurg for me was just the best hero because he was so incredibly consistent. But one player sample size. So I know some high level players have had some bad Flurg games, but then again, no hero is immune to bad games, right? That's, if you have a really bad luck. But I that approach of staying on tier 2 and farming honchos for me has worked pretty much every time.
All right. Well, maybe you'll see less of this hero, and but it's possible that with the armor and stuff, it might be still playable. But changing 4 to 5 does feel pretty impactful. It's gonna take a much longer time to get the ball rolling, or you might need the brand or something like that to just have the initial.
You'd have to do the math as well. Like, is it worth to buy Sally's? Is it worth to buy Reef Explorers and all that? Might be a bit.
It might still be worth to buy.
The assumption is yes.
Yeah.
My assumption is yes. But the math does change there, where it's just not as good as before.
Yeah. How does it feel? But anyways, that's the only hero change. Any hero jumping out like, oh, this is missing? I know you're gonna say Lich Vizal, but other than that, like any other.
Oh, about what could have been.
Could have been, yeah. Changed. Yeah. What jumps out to you?
I mean, Brucon is still really dumb. I think Brucon having armor is. I'm not complaining because I feel like I'm really good at playing him, and I pick him every time he's offered almost, unless it's Flurg, and especially a good Flurg lobby. I'm not going to doubt, but yeah, Brucon is a hero that I think I had like the start of the day. I got like 2 Brucons, 2 firsts, or something stupid where I'm just like, yep, that's what happens when you get a free quest. So for anyone who missed it, Brucon has the ability to make 4 death rattles on your board that spawn 1/1s, and we know a lot of quests are super cheesable with that. Have X amount of friendly minions die, summon X amount of minions, have X amount of death rattles trigger. Brucon just speedruns those 3 quests like no other. And if 3 quests can be offered, and if any of those quests have any good reward attached to them, you almost, you're at a super, super high advantage. So I'd say Brucon having armor, but that might just be a very high MMR thing. Other than that, not much. Okay. I like Bran is really, really good as well, where I feel like Bran having armor is also maybe a little bit ridiculous. because he's so good at questing as well. You get Bran and you make a lot of money, and you get either Swabby or you get the Coin Nog or you get the Cat, and yeah, almost all my Bran games do really, really well. But those are really more things where on the spot I'm thinking about. Is there anything that I think is a little bit too strong, right? Those I would throw out. But I really like playing Bran and Brucon, so I'm really happy that they didn't touch them. But I'd say they are really strong.
All right, that's fair. The Bran one, I'm looking at the stats,
Yeah, but Bran is very difficult. I can guarantee you that like the vast majority of people that contribute to displacement, they don't hold enough cards on them. Like going into the quest turn, I got like 3 cards in my hand or something, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoarding, and if you do that consistently, dude, you can have some really, really stupid turns where you just insta complete your quest or something crazy. Like if you get the battle cry quest on Bran, it's so dumb because you have like 3 battle cries in your hand already, right? And you need to play 4 because he's got armor. So you can see how that turns into a very, very nasty turn very quickly.
Is that something like people should be doing on every hero?
Well, if your opponent allows for it, yes, absolutely. Okay. If your opponent allows for you to not play your cards and not take damage, absolutely. So you need to really look at your opponent and see if they're going 3-on-3. You need to see if they're weak. They need to see if they just have a lot of low star units on their board where you don't give a shit if they beat you or not. So like a lot of tier 1 players, like I'll just take the damage. I'll take like my 4 or my 5 or whatever. But I usually look at my units and I weigh the value. So if I have a battle cry unit in my hand, I will very rarely play that one. I'll just hold it because it's a unit that has a type on it most of the time, unless you're holding a sparring partner. But why do you have a sparring partner in your hand? So usually it's like a mind muck. I'll have a mind muck in my hand because it's a battle cry minion. It's a demon, so it's a double whammy. Something like the 4/1 that spawns a 4/1. The name evades me for now. Yeah, but that imp, that is just great combat real estate, right? So putting that down is usually a good decision because that's going to potentially save you like 4 health, where it's going to kill 2 drops. So I really weighed a decision on how much health are you going to save me after already, scouting my opponent and seeing, do I need to even play this versus you? So I think that's a big deal. You really want to scout. You really want to see if you need to play your cards. And then you need to look at your cards and you need to say, okay, how useful are you for the quest? Like for instance, Alley Cat, that's insane to have in your hand because that's summon 2 minions. That's a battle cry and it's a beast. So there's a very high chance that the Alley Cat's going to advance your quest counter if you hold it.
So basically, the answer is it depends. The classic answer for every situation.
Stupid players and their nuance. Can't you just tell me to do something in every single one of my games and have it work? But yeah, at least look at your cards and see like, should I hold some of these? Ask yourself. It's definitely a habit of mine. I will be holding in a lot of cases.
Okay. Good to know. Just wanted to follow up since it felt like you were edging towards that direction. But those are the okay.
And I was just saying Bran. Okay. Yeah, well, Bran specific, I was gonna say, because what happens on turn 4 with Bran, you get your Bran most of the time. So it's really, really efficient on Bran because you're holding battle cries. So you're saving up for your quest and you're getting double the value because your Bran unlocks on that turn. So for Bran, I think it's a no-brainer. Like I'm almost always have like 2 to 3 cards in my hand on turn 4, before the turn starts.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. And then we have course reward changes. So once again, not that many changes for quest rewards. You just have just one. Okay. They like doing one change. Okay. Smoking gun. Old, your minions have +5 attack. Now your minions have +4 attack. And also, smoking gun is easier to earn. So this one's interesting because you can't say this is strictly a nerf. Way with the Flurgo, you can say that's strictly a nerf. This one, you can't really say that's strictly a nerf.
It's hard to evaluate, right? Can we get some clarity? Easier. How much gold am I spending less now for this? How many battle cries fewer am I buying? How many, Murlocs less am I playing for this? I'm assuming in terms of the battle cry one that it's going to be 1 or 0, depending on what the number is and depending on your hero. I don't think you're ever going to get like a 2 minion discount where you're like, oh yeah, just like play 3 battle cries and smoking guns yours. I don't think you're going to be doing that. But it would help if they would tell us like exactly how easy. But now I know that it's messy, right? It's very messy when you have your system and you have all this armor waiting on it. So I get it. They can't really put that in there. But it's very hard for us to now say, is it a nerf or not? because we have to see how just how much easier it is now. So I'll play with it, and next week I'll be able to tell you. But for now, I can't really tell you.
This is the kind of type of thing you have to go to Twitter and ask them: is smoking gun change a nerf or a buff? Like that, you have to go and ask them because it's not
a buff or not. Yeah, that's a funny idea.
No, because it literally could be like they could be thinking, "Oh, we're gonna buff smoking gun."
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
And we don't know. We really don't.
I think the intent here is to nerf it. That would be my assumption, but you're right. There is a possibility where you look at this and be like, no, we were trying to make it stronger.
Yeah.
So we felt that it was bad. But I think Smoking Gun is one of those quests that does overperform because it's such a it's so good, man. And I see that so often in my stream where I still have people come in and be like, really? Smoking Gun? Like, isn't that just good for the early game? Like, no, late game, every fucking rat has +5 damage. Every Buster bot has +5 damage. Every Microbot has +5 damages. If you have a mech or a beast comp for this, the amount of damage that you can put out is just obscene. So yeah, Smoking Gun is really good late game if you have the comp for it. So yeah, my assumption is that it was just overperforming.
Yeah. But we don't know.
We don't know. That's true. We don't know for sure. We don't know for sure. We can speculate, but we don't know for sure.
I would agree with you. I think most likely it's a nerf, but
yeah.
Even if they think it's a nerf, being easier to earn might just make it better. Like,
true.
Just straight up. So definitely an interesting change. We'll see how it plays out on the stats or so. And as well, they have a Minion update. This one more than one. Okay, so Nether Drake's getting buffed again. Oh no!
It's one. Yeah. It's one change because you're gonna see what they did. It's basically the emissary changes something to fill the gap.
Oh, they made it a tier 3. Oh, that's a huge nerf. Never mind. Oh.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, where people were just, you know this, right? They were staying on tier 2, they were rolling for Bulb Smuggle and Nether Drake.
Yeah.
So I think that was just too free, especially on low MMR, I think, where people aren't buying as many Leroys and Queens and making poison units in general. On high MMR, it was still common for people to do this. So if a brain dead strategy works on high MMR, you can only think at how much it terrorizes low MMR, where people would be like, oh, so you're telling me all I have to do is stay on tier 2 and roll Nether Drake, Bulb Smuggler? I could do that. I could definitely do that. I could totally do that. So yeah, I can see them being like, yeah, that's too strong.
Yeah. Well, that's going to change that strategy. Also nerfs Ysera a lot.
Yep. Arana as well. Arana was very common for this as well.
Oh. Unfortunate for those players.
I can't say that I hate it, but yeah, I definitely did it here myself.
Okay.
And then I do think that we don't want these like super easy strategies to be, that strong.
And then to kind of balance that, they've changed Twilight Emissary.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because this hero this is a really strong tier 2 card now.
Well, the way how I looked at it was the 2/4 demon. I gave 2/2 to a demon, and then was like, yeah, okay, I guess I can kind of see it.
Okay. Yeah, but that 2/4 demon is also really strong.
That was good.
Yeah,
it's very good. It's one of those things where if you hit a dragon plus an emissary, like Glyph Guardian Emissary, that's going to be a thing now, right? You're going to be seeing that a lot. That's really good when you hit it. Same way where if you hit a demon before, as you mentioned, you hit the Overseer. That's really good. But then the downside is it's a 3/3 taunt if you hit nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like problematic from first glance, but it will win you fights if you hit it in conjunction with the dragon, that's for sure.
Yeah, early game with Glyph Guardian, this is going to be a really good start. I agree with you. Not Omega broken, but like maybe Brand is happier, I guess. I don't know.
I can see people having a Roadbore and just gets one shot by this. Like they put like 2 gems on the Roadbore and then your Glyph Guardian hits it for 8. And they're like, yeah, good try, chump.
Yeah, that's gonna be very tilting.
Yeah. You're gonna be dealing 8 damage on, what is it, 5 gold? Yeah, 5 gold you can deal 8. So imagine, right? You sell the bacon, you get the Roadbore, and you're like, I'm getting a gem every time. Just bam. Hit up for 8. Yeah, it's nasty.
And there's also a bug fix where Dark Force Malygos is not able to be claimed or equipped. So I assume this is a skin.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
assuming so as well.
Who's playing Malygos these days? Not the biggest issue.
Well, with the armor changes, it's all playable, Collins. You want to play some Mally? Go for it.
All right. But this was a small patch, and they did say it was gonna be a small patch. There's gonna be a bigger patch next major patch, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I mean, I guess the last thing we have to talk about is the maybe the promotion. I guess I don't know.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I just wanted to bring up the concept where I have been making some YouTube videos again, and one of the more I think they're all interesting, of course. I make my own videos, but the I think a fun thing to talk about on the podcast was I made a list of the 5 compositions that I play the most to gain MMR. So this is not a list of I play this, in order of strength, where you're like, oh, this comp is the best and that comp is second. I play it in terms of consistency. So, how likely am I going to be gaining MMR if this is the composition I go for? Now, the annoying thing is that number 5 is tier 2 Whelp Smuggler
Oh, is
Dragon.
it? Oh.
Yeah. So that's out. So that's no longer a thing.
This is the issue I have when I make guides. It's so hard to make a guide because legit it changes like the next day sometimes for you.
Yeah,
like you spend like a couple days working on a guide and then you post it. And then like a week later, like, well, this is outdated. Like, don't watch this.
It's part of the thing. That's why I went for the top 5 calls. Like, they're not killing all 5 of these. I can tell you. So I can pick some safe bets here and there. But yeah, so the 5th one doesn't really count anymore. But number 4 was Poison Murlocs.
Okay.
And I think
you're spoiling it for them. Okay, I hear you. They don't even have to.
Oh, right. No, I just thought that the concept itself would be interesting to talk about on podcast, because then maybe you can, give your idea of like, oh, what would be my, you don't need to give a top 5, but like, oh, I don't play this, or I play that a lot as well myself. So the poison scam, I have it as 4th. So I think that there's definitely cases to be made to bump this up higher, but I think poison scam still has some weaknesses. So we're talking about a general. Well, we're talking about a general spread of lobbies. I think if you're talking specifically about what are the best comps in no mech no beast lobbies, then this jumps up. Right. But then obviously, like some of the comps involve mechs or beasts. Actually, all of the comps above this one involve mech or beast. So that's a good point, Collins. So in the no mech no beast lobby, this is the highest rated comp for my guide, because the others all involve mechs or beast. Which makes sense, actually, when you think about it. Whenever I look at a lobby, those are the 3 types I look at. Are there Murlocs, are there beasts, are there mechs? Because I think those are the 3 most influential types. But yeah, poison scam, super good whenever you don't have the scaling and you need to beat some people that are strong. So is that something that you play quite a bit, or it's
when there are no mechs or beasts? I know other people are gonna do it, so I am forced to play their game because they will beat me. But I don't like it. I do not enjoy playing Murlocs.
Enjoyer. You're not a roll for golden selfless enjoyer. It's like, that's my turn.
So golden selfless I actually do like. But the other aspects of it, no, I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Why do I make my board like 15-15 and that's it, and it's no more use?
Yeah.
I don't want to roll past. This is the thing. Whenever you are playing in a no mech no beast lobby and you're playing Murlocs, it's very tempting to just keep buying seers and shit. But at some point, you just got to be like, no, that's -2 gold. I don't need to buy that. I just need.
Once I have 80 health on my.
I stop at like 20 or something.
I know you do. I know.
Because there's no reason, right?
I know, and then I lose to the 20 healthers, and I'm just like,
Yeah, because they have Queen, they have Selfless, they have Baron, right? It's frustrating. But yeah, that took me a while to really learn. Like, nah, skip the Seer, skip the Felfin, skip the Begurgle. You don't need those anymore. Or sell the Bran as well. Like, you just sell Bran early, because once you're done scaling your board, the brand is cool to make some money here and there and get some free stats, but if you're gonna take like 8 or 9 damage because you don't have an extra poison on the board, or you didn't play your Salphos, or you didn't play that Leroy, like that brand is a real downside at that point. So yeah, I do sell my brand quite fast in poison scam games. All right. Anyways, number 3 is Mexodia, the Omega Buster build, where you have the kangaroos and you blow up your own board with Blaster.
I think you should not tell them number 2 and 1 and be like, go watch the video.
Yes. Well, the cool thing is that the video is split up in 2 parts because I was doing this and then I was like, I wonder how long that took. Now look at my recording, 45 minutes. Yep, that's not a quick video. I was just like, in my mind, I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna talk about 5 comps. How long can it take?
How slow can that be? I hear you.
Yeah, and honestly, this is the total time now is, what is it, 38 minutes. So I re-recorded a lot of things and I cut out things like I could like sometimes I looked at like an entire like 2-minute explanation. I'm like, yeah, that's a detail. I don't need to talk about it. Just cut, right? So I try to be ruthless, but I'm still with over half an hour. So I need to get better at this at, like really condensing it. Like, okay, what is the really important shit? Because I do know when people look at videos, they like 21 minutes for 2 comps. Dude, just tell me the 2 comps, right? Just tell me 5 minutes or less. Come on, that's got to be possible. And I like agree, yeah, sure. Like, it's because I think about so much, and when I tell you like play this, I also want to tell you how to play it, of course. But
You don't want them complaining. You don't want them getting their money back. You're just like, yeah.
It's like, well, I played this comp, but it's so bad, man. Oh my god! It's like, yeah, you put the deflectors in the back. They're supposed to go in the front, man. So I want to take them. I want to give them a couple minutes to explain how to position their shit and what to buy and when to transition and all that. Yeah. Okay. So for the last 2 comps, as Colin said, you can go check that out on my YouTube if you like. You can literally just type Shady Bunny in the search bar. I'll pop up. And,
that's what I do.
Yeah. Well, most people do, I think. It's the easy way. So yeah, it's the top 5 comps for MMR. Part 1 we covered. So we've got the Nether Drake, which is no longer relevant, Poison Scam, and the Omega Buster comp, and then the last 2 comps are in the second video.
So go watch the second video. Okay, I hear you. Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
Sounds good. All right. Do we have anything else more to talk about? Any final topics?
Well, you're back, sort of. We can announce your return.
I might still be chilling a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Okay, so this is a final qualifying period for Lobby Legends this year.
Yeah.
And the prize is double, and I learned that today. I might be pushing for that.
My instinct is to not let it fuck up all the things you thought about for the past 2 weeks. Because the thing is, I do that sometimes, man, where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna care as much, or I'm not gonna ruin my schedule, or whatever. And then I remember that was actually the qualifying periods we just had, where I was like, okay, I don't need to play after my stream and this and that. And then I got really close. And then the first day I played after my stream, boom, like 2 losses, minus 200. We're like, okay, whatever. Then the second day, I played again because I'm close again, like boom, again, minus 200. We're like, okay, I get it. It's fine. Just stick to the plan. You had a plan. Stick to the plan. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if you want to go for it, go for it. I'm just saying, don't let it affect your mindset too much. If you came to a good conclusion, the fact that the money is doubled, I think for the most part, shouldn't
matter. I hear you. Look at you being reasonable, Shady. Ugh. Disgusting.
I'm just sharing my mistakes and logic flaws. So I'm saying, hey man, I regretted it. I had buyer's remorse. Afterwards, like, I shouldn't have queued. Why am I doing this? I told myself I wouldn't queue. And yeah, I queued anyway because maybe I do qualify. Yeah.
Fair enough. But I'm planning on doing more stuff outside of Twitch in terms of like more content for YouTube, and planning on making like other avenues, Instagram and stuff, and working on those platforms. Maybe working on like clips for the podcast and stuff like that. Just like little extra things you can do to branch out, because I've been streaming for a while, and it's not like I'm gonna my numbers are gonna change randomly, right? So I kind of know where they look at, and I think I might actually do better if I have other uh, things people could follow, because I think even the podcast itself has been helpful. It's not like super popular or anything, but like I do hear people saying, "Oh, I like your podcast" and stuff like that, and I'm just like, "Oh," and they don't know anything else. It's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you
no.
stream? Oh, okay." I'm like, "Oh,
I
okay."
love that. When I get that. I love that. That is so good.
And then that
So,
always like
no,
that
go ahead.
first of all, that's concerning. But I'm like, oh, okay, so
Wait,
maybe
why is that? Why is
because it's
that?
like I mostly stream, like like
Yeah,
the podcast is like the extra, but apparently for some people the podcast is the whole thing and they don't even know anything.
I do get that mindset because I had that as well with YouTube when I was doing a lot more YouTube stuff. For me, it was still just this small thing in the
Right.
back of my head. Yeah, I'll just I'll do my arena runs, back in the day, and I'll upload them. But then I do have these people be like, "Yeah, I've never watched your Twitch stream. I just like your YouTube videos." Be like, "Oh, that happens. Yeah, that does happen." Yeah, so yeah, it's the same thing with the podcast, right? People are like, "Yeah, I don't watch streams. I like listening to podcasts." So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think doing more stuff like that, more content, like because I haven't really done any like YouTube specific content in a while, right? Like the YouTube is kind of the podcast, and I definitely want to change that. Like I guess the last thing I did was like the commentary but that was mostly like a stream that I cut out, into bits. So
Yeah. So it's been repurposed essentially,
yeah,
and you want to make some YouTube specific YouTube videos.
yeah, some YouTube specific stuff. I used to the best thing I think I've done is the meme video for Arena. That
Love. Oh wait, that one. Okay, no, I was gonna say I really like the PG video that you made where you you roll into like this insane shop,
oh,
and
with
then
the music.
yeah, and you're like, oh, God, I can't even remember what you said, but it's just like, no, that's what I'm talking about,
That's
or
what I'm
something.
talking about.
Yeah, something along the lines there. I'm just like, "Oh, that's
Yeah.
so well edited. I love it. I love it. I love it. I wanna watch this game now." So, but yes, the arena I think that was probably your most, like, intense work,
Yeah, that
right?
one took the most effort, I would say, yeah, for sure. Uh, the other one was good because I had to find the music for it. That could work. So that one also took a little bit. But I see what you're saying. Yeah. And I want to do more stuff like that. Just like spending some time doing some interesting YouTube content. So
That's
um,
fair, that's fair.
it does mean there will be like less like overall Twitch streams, right? Because I'll have to spend some time doing editing and stuff, and that takes
Well,
forever. So.
I'm gonna be honest, you were playing a shit ton when you were off stream, my man, so
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
not even sure
So
if your
so
stream
so
time
I
is
will
that
be
good.
I will be doing less of that as well, right?
Yeah. I would recommend none, honestly, if you're going down this path, like, unless, you're just really feeling it,
Well,
for whatever
okay, this
reason.
month I'm going to be playing off stream,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay, whatever.
But
But starting
I think
starting November,
after starting next month, yeah, I'll probably tone that down.
that's honestly how I did it for years. And I think if you really want to focus a bit more on content, jamming a bunch of streams offline is just like you're just not following the plan, right? Because you could be using that time to do the editing.
Yeah, for sure. But this month, there's no promises.
Yeah, no, understandable,
Okay.
understand.
Uh, but that's my current thought process. I still like streaming. I still like playing everything, stuff like that. But I do think it's maybe not super optimal. I think at this
Yeah, it's really good to be conscious about that, I'd say, because I think it's very easy to also just kind of follow this is what I've been doing, so I'll just keep doing
Yeah,
it.
it's actually very easy to go back to the autopilot because it's an autopilot that's like 6-7 years of
Yeah.
practice. So very easy to be like, oh yeah, I'll just stream continuously. But um,
If you're not conscious about it, that's what you'll be doing, right? Essentially, that's what you'll be defaulting to. So yeah.
so yeah, you're gonna have to remind me. I've already told someone to kick my butt if I don't listen to my own advice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
God, this is like awesome quote about I may have already told it to you at some point, but it's like, send me a man with a list of all my problems and I'll sort them right out. Where
Yeah, yeah,
it's so real, man. Where if you're able to just detach from your own bullshit and your own excuses and whatever else that doesn't really apply, you'd be like, oh, someone else has a list of all my problems. I could just tell them what to do and probably fix their situation. But yeah, then applying it to your own situation, that's a different one.
very true. All right.
All right. I think we're good then, right?
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Right. Ending topic page. Click. All right. Thank you guys for joining us here today. This has been HSBG Podcast. This is feedback at podcast at Gmail. I'm your host, Educatedcollins. And you can find me at Educatedcollins on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube. Hopefully more of that stuff going forward. And then Shady, you can find Shady Bunny, Twitch and YouTube and Twitter. And
Yep. Shady Bunny or Shady Bunny Live, pretty much everywhere.
Shady Bunny Live. And hope to see you guys later. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming particularly super soon. But I will be playing. So, I'm still in there. Just might not be like particularly there, but hopefully you guys have fun. If you guys, and the Lobby Legends finals is tomorrow. That's pretty big if you do want to watch that. So I don't know the time for that, but definitely check tomorrow if you want to watch some
I think
great
it's
lobby.
5 in the afternoon my time, so
5 in the afternoon,
it's probably okayish for you. It's early, but not.
So maybe like 10, 10 a.m. CEST, I would say.
Yeah, I'd have to this is also just off the top of my head, so we'd have to confirm.
So which is like midnight PST, I think. Or not midnight, midday. 12 PST.
Let's see if we have the time here. CT 4 p.m. PDT 8 a.m. And then KST, I don't know which time zone that is. That's midnight.
Okay, so it is earlier. It's earlier than what I was saying. So
it's 8 a.m. Yeah, 8 a.m. America, essentially 4 p.m. Europe.
So super early in the morning.
Yeah, early morning for.
Well, if you guys want to watch that, feel free and take care, everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.